Collingswood and smashed my DVD that you sent us.
Hey, I can always send you another.
Oh, no, I'll take it. I'm kind of bummed I opened it because you sent me one that had been untampered with, and it had the sticker that Charlie talked about in the intro.
Oh, cool.
Watch in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it off and I put it on the inside because I'm a hoarder and I like to look at that kind of stuff. And it kind of is like peeling up. I'm a little bummed. I'm tempted to tape it back down.
Oh, bummer. Yeah, you know what that was?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Oh, cool. Jeez,
yeah,
I remember printing those out.
Oh, did you make this one?
I did.
Oh, I fucking love that. I kind of had a feeling, but dude, it looks incredible. Like, so did you make all the stickers for it too?
Not all of them.
Oh, which one didn't you make?
I didn't make the one that said "Watch in the Dark."
Okay, that's that one. See how it's peeling up.
Cool.
Yeah, I got the little note too.
It looks like a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Exactly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which makes it difficult to peel because you got all those edges.
It does.
So good job, Russell.
Well, thank you.
I would have fucked that up.
Hey, I'm meticulous, dude. That's why we have an industrial-sized bottle of Goo Gone down there.
Oh, you need the Goo Gone.
We can't have any sticky shit on it either.
No.
Dude, Mike, thanks for hanging out with us again.
No, I just wanted to thank you guys again for inviting the film to the festival and to finally meet you all. It was such a great time and such a great experience. So just again wanted to thank you guys very, very much.
Yeah, man, it was our pleasure. It was a long time coming, and I'm glad it all worked out. And we had a great screening.
Yeah, honestly, the screening of Collingswood kind of became a hunt for the grail over here, because I think from the original UF, you were on our radar, and like I was guilting you at the fest. We had our good friend Charlie, who on here we call him the Birdman, and he's an incredibly funny dude, a little introverted, and the fact that he came out to do your intro is that was one of my happiest moments there, because I'm like, I really think he's coming out of his comfort zone. But dude, years ago, when we first met him, we told him how much we love found footage, and he was like, "Oh, have you seen Collingswood?"
Wow.
And I'm like, God damn it, I fucking hate it, because I feel like we should be experts on this, but every time we talk to another enthusiast, they always have some shit we've never seen, which, it kind of checks the ego, but then we get to watch a cool movie like Collingswood, and, we got in contact with you right away, and you sent me a DVD, and it's like, cool, we want to have you on the podcast, and I believe that was 5 years ago. Yeah, and then we couldn't get a hold of you, and we're like, dude, Mike's dodging us, dude.
Oh my God, yeah. Jeez, that's 5 years. I can't, it's hard to believe that, goes by that fast. But yeah, you know what? Charlie, very cool. I mean, everybody was super cool. And just what you're telling me now about him just makes me appreciate him even more, because just how he introduced the film. I just met the guy. It was really such an honor. It was great.
Shut up, Mike. We know you had a horrible time.
So wait, where is Charlie?
I think they arrested him after.
He's banned from the show.
He was so elated with his intro and hanging out with you that he got wasted across the street at Hockey Haven, and I believe he's still in prison.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he went in there. He's like, I'm a bird. I'm a bird.
Oh, man.
All right, where do you want to start, Russ?
I don't know. I just want to hang out with Mike. I kept telling him that. The minute I saw him come in, I'm like, oh, this motherfucker looks like a dude I'd hang out with.
Okay, you want to kick it off? I can kick it off.
Kick it off.
We're going in a different direction.
Okay.
Mike?
Yes.
I want to talk about a public service announcement film you did in 1996.
Okay.
Called Beat the Bash.
Yes.
Where it's a PSA about gay bashing.
Yes, it is.
I want to know how this started. We have a minor obsession with public service announcements.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We love them, and it's a special thing. I think we started it We like training videos. We like PSAs. It's just Russell, what is that PSA about gun violence that we saw that's great?
Oh, I don't know. I
Police brutality or something? What?
The recent one on gun violence
No,
with
they're
the
not.
No,
high
this
school
was like
kids,
in the
that was brilliant.
mid '90s. I
Oh,
can't.
okay.
We talked about it when we talked to
I remember watching
Vayu and
I remember watching the Stuart Gordon PSA, but that one was different.
that's a different one.
Yeah. I don't remember the gun one.
And then, of course, Shutter releases the George Romero PSA.
yeah.
What is the name of that? About getting older. That's great.
Carnival of something.
Something. Yeah. But yeah. So Mike, how did this project happen?
I with all my projects, I'm inspired by either a real life event or or something, a vibe that I want to go with, or a message that I want to tell. And at that time, gay bashing was on the rise, and certainly in Los Angeles. So a DP that I work with on some of my short films, Brad Rushing. I mean, he's incredible, super talented. Talented. He's doing a lot of shows, shooting a lot of shows right now. Actually, one for Netflix. However, he was like, "Dude, let's shoot it in 35 millimeter." I've never shot anything in 30, so we did. Panavision donated a camera package, so we shot the whole thing in 35. We got Wilson Cruz and Meredith Scott Lynn to appear in it. So the whole message really was just to present gay bashing on the rise and hopefully curtail it. So I think it like aired on MTV and like some other cable outlets, but that was a great project. I mean, of course, we just shot it in a day, put it together, and then got it out there. Have you seen it? Did you?
No. I just discovered this about 30 minutes ago. So if I could track it down, 100%, I want to look at this.
You know what? It might be on my website, MikeCostanza.com. I think I have it in the videos there, or it's. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Excuse me.
Perfect.
But
If we could track it down, we'll put it up somewhere.
cool.
Also, the
It might just
amusement park.
it might just be on like my portfolio site too. You can check it out there, but it looks good. I mean, because it's 35 millimeter.
So have you done prior PSAs to this, or was this the first and only?
That was the first one, and then I tried to do one on plastic pollution, and that unfortunately didn't go anywhere. But I was talking to like the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation,
Sure.
and trying to get them behind it. So
What draws you to that format of the PSA opposed to a narrative about the subject?
exactly, just like a quick message, just I had just ADD with me too,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm like, let's just get something out quick, just like
And plus,
just like a commercial.
I think it's you can have fun in there. I think you definitely run into the danger of being heavy-handed, but sometimes isn't that the point?
Yes, exactly. Well, too, because again, you only have like, what do you have, like 10 seconds, 30 seconds a minute? So you really, sometimes you have to be heavy-handed.
Yeah. Rush, your thoughts. You're pretty heavy-handed yourself.
Yeah, I'm very heavy-handed. It's a burden. In
there's
fact,
one
my knuckles
heavy-handed
drag on
dude,
the
that's
ground
us.
as I walk. No, Mike, I'm super curious about you as a person. Now, you look like a chill motherfucker to hang out with. And when you talk about making a documentary about shutting down the plastic industry, you strike me as a liquid death dude. Are you a fan?
Who's not?
Of course.
I feel like you're the perfect guy to be rocking that merch too. Like you're their demographic.
Yes, but because again, just so many, as a filmmaker, it's so many things affect me personally also. So if it's just me getting out, I guess my feeling on it on a subject also. So it's like having Tourette's almost. It's like this is my only way to express myself on this. This is how I'm going to do it. This is the platform I'm going to use.
Now, Mike, we had Will Carsola on the podcast. We're very in with Liquid Death. So I
Cool.
think we got to get you in there, and you got to
Cool.
start
Thank
making
you.
movies for them too.
Thank you. Cool. Cool.
Also, Mike, everybody hates us but you, so I'm completely lying. Now, dude, Mike, you strike me as kind of an introvert yourself, yet you're making all these like social docs, or you have like, I don't know, what is this drive to make films? Is that
What is
how?
this introvert extrovert thing you're on today?
I don't know. I'm just
You're
thinking about
calling
it.
Yeah,
out
he's really
everybody.
on the. Hey, you're an yeah.
So,
Uh,
am I right there? Or am I completely missing it?
I mean, I don't know. I guess sometimes I guess I am. I guess it really just depends on the crowd I'm with, or I don't know, but
At
I
the
try not
introvert.
to really think about it. I just like it's like just be yourself, I just whatever. So
Yeah, man, stop putting labels
No,
on
no,
everybody,
no.
Russ.
Now, here's the thing. Mike knows I'm very aggressive. In fact, at the film fest, I got titled the reverse bouncer because I was pressuring
first
people
bouncer.
to
That's
come
cool.
back in. And the vibe I got from Mike was when you walked in, you're kind of like, am I about to be pranked? You're like, are these people fucking serious that they like? I don't, because dude, we are pretty rabid fans of your film. And just for context, again, we're talking to Mike Costanza, no relation to Seinfeld, and the maker of probably the first screen life film ever. You know, yeah. For a minute there, I thought Ghost Writer might have counted, but I feel like you'd get into a technical debate there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mike, I mean, you kind of created a subgenre that is honestly like finding its heyday now. And
Yes.
dude, and one of my favorite moments of this was we screened your film on Saturday. And dude, it was so cool watching Collingswood on a big screen. And
Thank you.
the,
Yeah, it is a good experience, especially with an audience and just their reaction and stuff. It's always good to see it with an
wait,
audience.
you know what? Let's stop there. So when your film came out, what we're looking at 2002.
Yes.
Now, did you do a festival run or like what was the release like?
Yeah, it did. Let's see, it played at, but this was years later, actually in 2006. It was at Fright Fest in London. Um, Horathon, I think that was in Manchester. And actually, there was a Fearless Tales Film Festival that was in San Francisco too, but that was closer to, because Anchor Bay did a small release. But in 2002, I just did a like self distribution, so the film still was really underground, and it was just kind of word of mouth.
Oh, Anchor Bay picked it up?
Yes, but it was
Damn.
Anchor Bay UK. So it was the
Oh,
guy Mo Claridge, because he did like the original Halloween. It was really cool, but it was just um, Anchor Bay UK.
man, what the hell? What was that release like?
That was fun. I mean, it was a small release, but it got some good, feedback. But again, at that time, there was no Zoom, there was no, FaceTime, so it was still like this concept isn't really in our mainstream.
Yeah, you know what? I instantly jumped on eBay and I cannot find it. Now I know we mostly do a horror podcast, or at least we pretend we do. And if you're in the early 2000s, Anchor Bay was like the distributor. Like they're
Yes,
the ones that kind of made Blu-rays and DVDs like
yeah,
collectible.
yeah.
And the idea of Collingswood coming out that early, I instantly was like, I don't care if I'm on a podcast, I want to go find it. Although it's in the UK, man. So again, shout out to Ilan Sheedy. He's the one that did all our art for Of Five. He
Hmm.
lives in Germany currently, and they put out digibooks left and right, multiple
Oh, cool,
covers, and
nice.
it's like the market out there is just crazy. I I don't know where I'm going with that. I just wanted to
Germany's a
bitch about.
crazy place, though.
That's cool.
It is a crazy place. All right, so you did a short film. It sounds like you only did in the UK. Did it ever play out here in America?
No, Dread Central did a screening of it online. Steve Barton was one of the first people to see the film. I just like on a whim, I sent it to some of the horror websites
Yeah.
just to see the type of reaction it would get. And he loved it. So he kind of took it under his wing and just did a great review for it, and then did a streaming of it on their website. But again, too, this was very early in the time of just streaming and online, and just everything was just starting.
Do you have a ballpark of like what year? Was that in 2006 also?
That was shoot. I want to say that was later. It could have been like 2009,
Yeah, damn.
10 or something.
Yeah, that's still not a time where I would rush to my computer to watch a movie
Exactly. Yeah,
premium.
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a victim of being like too ahead of the time. Like, I can't imagine, like, all right, watching Collingswood now is weird because it's like we're looking into a different reality that never was. We're
Right,
like, we're back in the 90s, but the internet is fucking fantastic. There's
right.
no dropping or anything. You have to run a phone cord through your house, but everything's cool. The cameras look great. And, you know, in 2002, you'd be like, what am I looking at? Like,
Yes.
I almost feel like it'd be like, this is, you could never do this.
Right. What is this dystopian, not so near future?
Dude, in
Right,
2002, I remember fighting with my dad over a phone line because he would be downloading the theme to the Addams Family for an hour.
right.
And I would be like, dude,
Exactly.
can I go on AOL now? Like,
Exactly, right.
Yeah, but it was like the Nokia Ring of like the Addams Family. It
oh,
wasn't like a full.
oh no, it was the full. That's why it took
Oh,
over a fucking hour. And we had our own phone line. We had two phone lines too.
Whoa.
We're
My God.
very privileged.
Well, that's
And
right. Like in the film, you'll notice that John, Rebecca, when she goes out and she shoots all those video emails, and then, of course, she has to upload them and then send them to, John's like, oh, they took forever to download.
oh yeah.
It's like, yeah, because at the time,
Dude, you know what's funny? I recently started working with a young Gen Z, and talking about early internet, and there's just like no palette for it. It kind of freaks me out.
now what's the age range on a Gen Zer?
Well, the one I'm talking about, she is 22, I believe,
Oh,
22, 23.
sweet, sweet child.
Yeah,
Not a wrinkle in their brain.
I it's weird to me because watching Collingswood, I'm like, there's a generation that won't understand anything here. Like,
yeah,
just the nuance. Like, you know what I'm confused about? So in the movie, we have a character driving around filming. Now, what was she shooting that on?
her laptop.
I thought so.
So she's actually driving, supposedly like holding her fucking laptop out the window with the little camera attached to it. Like here's my geeky webcam gizmo. Before cameras are built in to a laptop, I'm just gonna fucking attach it to the top and then just hold it out the window and film everybody.
Now, I mean, I feel like I wasn't completely computer illiterate back in the day. I was the guy that people would come to in high school to burn them a CD, and I even had a cool little label maker too.
I could have used
Oh,
you.
nice. Yeah, those label makers were great.
Dude, they were terrible, but they were also like next level. They were like perfect. But here's the thing, I never had a webcam. I had no desire to show somebody else what they were looking at. So when I was watching Collingswood again, I'm like, is she filming this with the laptop? My first thought was like, didn't those batteries die in like 5 minutes? Those heavy bricks that would like heat up your lap and like melt your bones. And I just kept getting caught up in it. And I realized like, it's like,
Well,
dude, I'm looking into another reality. And what Charlie brought up in the Q&A was something I didn't even realize, was your movie works so perfectly. I mean, we're in the age of like Host, Control, Alt, Trick, Treat. There's many Zoom made movies. And your movie fits in perfectly. Like, it doesn't feel you would never guess the way that you filmed the conversations. Can you talk a little bit about like priming your actors and cutting that together?
at the very beginning, they're like, well, wait a minute, this is a film, right? Why am I going to be sitting in a chair the whole time? Films are supposed to move. So I tried to say this. Well, this is a new concept, guys, and
It's like the first
I swear to
talkie.
God, but wait. I had no idea if it was going to work too, but I had to like convince them. Of course, this concept is going to work because the whole concept of it being shot on separate days and then them just talking to a high 8 camera that was supposed to be a webcam. They're like, what if I'm looking at Rebecca, what if it looks like I'm looking at the ceiling? Like they were like, how are you going to match my eye lines up? And that was a concern for me, but I never let them knew my concerns. My job was to just keep them as focused as possible on this new concept. So I like to rehearse. Some actors hate rehearsing, but everybody in the film liked to rehearse, which I thought was great because then it just makes filming much easier. Everything, because shit always happens on the set, and just if you're prepared, then you're just kind of ahead of the game.
Now,
So
no, Mike, I got to cut you off there because we watch a lot of found footage, and when you're trying to blend like reality with fiction,
mm,
and people script it out, that can be the death blow. And you can feel
really,
it sometimes when people feel like they're reading lines and they're supposed to be like in an organic setting, or like if like like it's almost like when you're doing the man on the street stuff in Jackass. If you're out there reading lines but like acting to a camera, dude, sometimes it feels so inauthentic. Yet your film doesn't feel that way. And we showed you in the middle of like a pretty like, I don't want to say avant-garde, but kind of like an experimental format block of features. And dude, it held up. And I'm like, the vision you must have had for that. Like even the eyeline thing. That I mean, dude, we're talking on video chat right now. I haven't been looking at the camera at all.
right.
Also, I have everything off onto an external monitor, so I'm normally looking over there. But the idea that the eyeline might be a problem and playing with that, I mean, I wish more found footage people would put that kind of thought into the movies they're making today.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sorry, Mike. I'm a
I
fucking
wish they
fan,
would
dude.
too. But I got to say, both of you guys, the posters behind you are rad. Love it.
We're in the
Really
same
cool.
room
So fucking cool.
too. Yeah, we have Takashi Miike. We got to meet him one time,
Oh,
and me and
nice.
Clark don't like being photographed, but we're like, we have to do this, right?
Yeah.
So we have
We had a quick discussion of like, I think this is the time where we pull the trigger.
yeah, a terrible photo. At least my part of it.
It was good. It was a good
I
picture.
contributed nothing but grossness.
Also, his translator is one of the coolest guys of all time.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
really?
guy's awesome. He looks like Lex Luthor.
Oh,
Excellent translator, terrible photographer.
Oh yeah.
But they were very nice, and that was super cool. But Mike, I want to talk about
yes.
inspiration. So again, we've kind of touched on it. That the Collingswood Story is, sort of this landmark film in the world of screen life because frankly there it was not a thing when the Collingswood Story came out. So what was your sort of inspiration in doing a movie this way? I mean, did you have any sort of reference points, any sort of film inspiration, life inspiration? Why this particular way of filming this story?
I'm definitely inspired by the Blair Witch Project and what the directors did with so little. I absolutely love that film.
Sure.
I still do to this day. So that was a huge influence. I still thank Ed Sanchez to this day because he really started um, the whole found footage genre from really taking off. I mean, Cannibal Holocaust and a few others before that too, but it really was the Blair Witch that was mainstream. Um, I think too at that time, the result, like the webcams coming out, and I just thought it was such a joke. Because if you compare it today to like what Instagram has become, just it's so fucking plastic, and it's just like, oh, look at me, look at me. So in a way, I guess I was wanted to make a social comment on that and where our communication was heading. So that was just like the kind of in the back of my mind. And then, of course, because I'm a horror fan too, so I wanted to um, place that in a horror setting. So, and then, it's really weird too. The shaker, that shaker was a gift from my mother. like all of a sudden I opened this box right before Halloween, and it scared the fucking like it was like, why would she send me something like this? It's like fucking demonic. And but it I was like, I gotta put this. So everything kind of came together. The shaker, Blair Witch Project, the webcams. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna put this all together.
Now, the shaker you're talking about is a very important item in your film, correct?
Yes.
Why
Yeah.
did your mom send that to you?
She found it in a store in Maine, and she knew that I like horror film. And when I was a little kid, she used to scare the crap out of me. Like when I was 2, 3, 4, 5, because I guess she was bored. So that's
You
where
know,
my love of horror came from.
Boredom.
dude, I don't know what it is, but that's a common theme. Like a lot of the guys I know that love horror, it's because their mom.
That's
Their
right.
mom got. I mean,
It all
I'm
goes back to
not
the
the case
Norman
where you
Bates.
hate it,
It
dude.
all goes back to yeah.
I mean, like my
Norman
mom.
Bates.
Again, I'm sorry, mom. I know you hate it when I bring this up, but she showed me the TV
Oh,
series
sweet.
when I was
Yes.
5. And I
God, see,
remember
that's
just being
great.
like, I
Love it.
begged to watch it, and then I
Oh,
fucking
that's so good.
regretted it
Dude,
instantly.
a
Oh,
horror's
that's
big with
awesome.
women.
But here's the thing. Oh
Uh,
yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah,
no, that would
horror
be
plays best.
terrifying as a 5-year-old.
No, but here's the thing. Then flash forward 5 years later, I'm still telling people it is the scariest movie I've ever seen. And I remember my younger cousin, shout out to Sean.
Really
He
creepy.
uh he watched it like when he was like, I think when he turned 10. And he came back and I was like, "You watched it? Oh my god, how were you?" And he's like, "It's okay." And it shattered my life. But cuz I was like, "What am I, a coward?" And then you rewatch it and it's like, "Oh god, times change."
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. When most people are like, "You like horror? Here's something creepy." They don't normally hit the nail on the head. And I feel like that shaker, it does carry some weight in your film.
cool. Yeah, no, no, no. I I think so too. I mean, it just kind of adds another element to it, whether um, people like are affected by it or scared or laugh at it or whatever. I just felt like it had to have another element to it also. So
Yeah, cute and creepy. They mix and mingle and then it gets like really scary.
That's the name of
that's
my testicles.
Cute. Now, Mike, looking at your IMDb, I had to ask you about EerieTube.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's going on there?
that was awesome. And geez, because that started around 2008, 2009, and that had, oh my God, if you look at the YouTube channel, that has all the original stuff that was on it. But it basically was a horror channel. So it had like award-winning shorts from around the world. It had like some original content, and all geared towards sci-fi horror comic books.
Oh, rad. Yeah, I just opened it up. That's that music playing. Yeah, dang. So you were in the YouTube game early.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had calling.
I mean, it wasn't my. I just kind of just gave it a. So at some point, I do want to do a resurgence of that site, because right now I think there's just like a teaser on it, but it was. You should check it out sometime. Just the YouTube channel of it, because I had like news reporting, reviews. I like to obviously I like to dabble in many different things, as you can see.
Yeah, I'm picking up on that. So you seem to be this multimedia oracle of some sort. So
Well, thank you. Oh, I like that.
we want
I
to
like
get to the nitty gritty of things. So I want to know your opinion on non fungible tokens, please.
you know what? I have a friend that's starting a company with that. At first I'm like, hey, interesting. I don't really know yet. I guess some of them that I've seen I think are really cool. I think they can work in terms of like an art piece to have, depending on like it what it is. But I still don't grasp like how the whole like metaverse, like the whole like money transfer
No
thing.
one does. They say they do. No one does.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head around that. I just
But
as much as I try.
do you think it's got some legs?
I do. Yeah, I do. I do.
Right there with you. I think
I
it's a
do.
marketing thing. It's a branding thing. That's how
Exactly.
it's gonna kick off.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Everything is branding.
Because
And
they're starting to, I mean, what you can do with like independent film or any films or any TV shows too, they're starting to sell portions of them. Like, so you get a, token, you can watch part of the film, but then you'll get some behind the scenes with it, or it's just like a Blu-ray extras, whatever. You'll just get different collectibles with it. So
Yeah, so
again, it's
Mike,
the type of thing where it's such a new, it really can go anywhere, and the possibilities that you can do with it. So
all right, so you don't have any hot tips? There's nobody we should be looking to buy right now? No yacht
that
apes or anything?
yeah, that I don't know, because again, it's just no. I try to, because with software and different, I try to like learn, and I usually pick up things pretty quickly, but I couldn't grasp this one. I keep trying.
All right, well, now with the Collingswood, I have to ask, was that shot on video?
Yes, that was a high camera, like a little Sony. Um, God, it was like a consumer. It wasn't even like a prosumer. I think it was just like a um, Sony High 8. And actually, I recently looked for it on eBay and I found it. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, really? How much was it going for?
I don't remember. I mean, not like a crazy amount, but I was like, that's what I shot it on. That's right.
Now, you recently teamed up with Cauldron Video to
Yes.
make a
You know what?
beautiful. God, this
Yeah.
release is so fucking cool.
Thank
You
you.
got
They were awesome. I mean, this, of course, like in the middle of lockdown, I get this email and they're like, hey, do you still own the rights to Collingswood? We want to put out a Blu-ray. And I was just completely stoked. So they really helped in this resurgence of the film also. And what I did was I retransferred all the original footage, because the first DVD that came out, I didn't really have the color, ability to do color correction. DaVinci Resolve is just this awesome software. So it looks, it just, this new version for them just looks great. And then working on a little bit different version for Shutter, and it's on Amazon Prime too. So that version, again, is like more the Blu-ray version. But the Blu-ray has all these fun extras, and it was just Cauldron. Just working with Cauldron has been great. They're awesome.
good. I'm glad they're picking up movies. They clearly are like-minded people. We should try and talk to somebody
You
on that.
should. You know what? I'll
Yeah.
put you in touch with them, because you should, and they have a great library. It's Diabolic DVD. Also, they have an awesome library.
Wait, what the
They're the
fuck?
same
They're
people.
Diabolic DVD?
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Oh shit! I
Yep.
had no idea. Now,
I
in
didn't
my
know
mind,
either. At first, I didn't know. I didn't know either.
what the fuck? Okay, just for people who don't give a shit about like
Okay.
physical media like that,
correct.
Diabolic DVD, they usually have all the cool shit that gets like sold out or like it moves on. Like they're so in that you might end up paying a little bit of a collector's rate on there.
Mhm.
But man, that's where I got my beautiful possession, like felt box set downstairs that you could like murder somebody with. They're fantastic. Which I mean, now I'm not surprised that this came out so beautifully. I had thought some weirdos had like crawled out of a basement and were like, "We just got to put these movies out," because they also put out another film that we love, 1974. Um,
Yeah, I like that too.
and
I
dude,
told him, I was like, "This is my new favorite fan footage film." I loved it. I thought it
well,
was great.
we showed it twice, Mike. So like, if you
Oh,
were
good,
hanging out with us, you would have like
good, good,
been in the know way before.
good. Cool. No, that's great.
No, and you know what? I have to complain a little bit. You got to meet our studio influencer, also a rabid Blu-ray collector, Terrell, who he came over my house and we were talking about and he was talking about all the DVDs and Blu-rays he wanted to bring to get signed by the directors that were going to be out. And he was showing his boyfriend the Collingswood story, but
Right.
he was using my Blu-ray to show him.
Cool.
And here's the thing. He gets fucking excited and when he's touching shit, like this sold out Blu-ray. My heart like slows down, my heart rate, because I have to calm down. And he was waving it around the room. And Mike, guess what happened?
Oh no, what? No, no,
It
no.
flew out of his fucking hand
You're kidding.
across the room and it hit the ground. Now, here's the thing. One, you got to check and make sure the disc isn't floating around, because if he broke one of those teeth in there, I was going to freak out. Two, if it hit a corner, it was going to accordion that corner, and I was going to freak out.
Shit.
He picked it up. Again, I still had it in the cellophane. Completely fine. You know what? I opened it today because I'm like, fuck, I got to open this thing and see what's going on so I could talk to Mike about it. Talking to you now, I see the damage he did. So I'm coming for you, Terrell. I know you're listening.
Terrell, yeah. Oh my
boy.
God.
Also, he got his copy signed by you at the fest. I want it now.
That was so, you know what? That was so awesome when he came up to me and meeting him. That was so great.
Now, as a celebrity, Mike, we have to ask you, are you more of a fan of people trying to get a photo with you or signing the Blu-ray?
I'm not a celebrity, number one. Number two, I don't mind either, really. I guess just meeting people was just kind of cool. And
What
just
about providing a blood
or even if
sample?
they hated the film. Wait, what? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
What about providing a blood sample?
Sure, why not?
Brave man.
Yeah, I pulled one of his hairs out during his movie. He didn't care.
I'm just kind of easygoing.
What you strike me as a O negative guy, Mike.
What is
that?
That's about how it normally goes. Now, Mike, I had to ask you.
Oh, negative. Wait, what is that? I don't know what that is.
Your blood type. What's your blood type?
I know, just kidding.
Do you know your blood type? I don't know mine.
I don't. I don't think I do.
I think that's something we should know.
I think I'm O positive.
You're not
positive. Okay.
No, I think it's the one where I could take anybody's blood, but only the other type of me could use my blood.
I'm positive that you are negative.
All right, great. Now my mom's gonna email and be like, "Your blood type. You should know this."
I know. I feel like my parents should have told me that when I was a child. Instead, they told me everything I was allergic to. So one of the first things I could learn how to say was,
what are you allergic to?
Cefsil, penicillin, and Ciclor.
Okay. Well, they're important to know if you're, allergic to.
Also allergic to hay.
You don't want to mix those.
Yeah.
Mike, I have to ask you about this. Now, for me personally, as a programmer of this film fest, one, it was great having you there. But two, I mean, and for everybody listening, we do this film fest to fucking meet you. Like, just to meet the filmmakers, to kind of, so we can watch the movie on the big screen. It's all selfish. That's why we do it. And
I love that.
When you came back for day 2, and I was so excited that you got to watch one of what I consider one of the best new rising found footage filmmakers. Isaac Rodriguez did a film called Deadware.
Yes, I enjoyed that very much.
Dude, now I don't know because Isaac's in the middle of moving. He was supposed to come out with their buddy Thomas Burke, who does the TBR on the show with me. But something happened and now he relocated. I think he's in Houston now. But I was trying to hit him up. I wanted to video chat him with you. But here's the thing. I don't know if he's ever seen Collingswood. But after watching Deadware, it's like he had to. Because he's also doing a retro live stream thing. And I'm curious, like, how did you feel watching that?
You know what? It's when filmmakers you're inspired by just like how I was inspired by Blair Witch. So it doesn't bother me if that's what you mean. I think it's cool. I think it's pretty cool.
No, I get to hang out with you.
But wait, if it's like a studio or producer or something stealing it, running with it, and making a shitload of money, and keeping you out of the project or whatever, then that's totally different.
Scumbag.
Yes,
so, Mike,
thank you.
I feel like I got to know you enough that there's no way I thought you would be mad about it. But just it's kind of like it's actually not similar as far as the story to Collingswood at all. And we're kind of doing a different thing. But clearly there's this genre that you were the pioneer of and it's continued.
Yes,
and I'm just
that's cool. Just that people recognize that is cool. Because at the end of the day, it's like, even when I started out to be a filmmaker, it's like the goal wasn't to be, oh, let's be like super, famous and rich, whatever. It's just nice to be recognized at some point. So,
well, You
Just
know,
that people are saying, yes, it's like the first Screenlife film now. It's like, finally, because I always believed in it. The cast always believed in it. So like now we're all like, oh my God, yes, this is great.
well, here's the thing. You talked about loving the Blair Witch. You're the Blair Witch of screen life. Like in the conversations we have, when somebody comes up and they're like, dude, I loved Host, you know, the cool guy answer would be like, well, have you ever seen Collingswood? Because that's the first one.
I saw some reviews that would say that. And I was like, yes, thank you.
Also, I we got to talk a little bit about, so you're a visionary clearly, and you came up with this whole video thing. You figured out a way to film it and make it look realistic even though there was nothing in reality to give you a reference. And there's one thing you did that really makes it feel like a different reality. And that's the whole like calling up a psychic and talking to them through video chat.
Yes.
And during lockdown, one of our programmers, Madeline, RIP, she
She's great. It was great to meet her too.
no, so she did a thing where she's like, there's an artist in Japan, and he does kind of like a in-camera live stream performance. And the thing is, you pay some money and you enter kind of like a Zoom call. Like there are
Hmm.
other people there and they have their cameras on,
Right.
but it's kind of like he shows you this haunted painting, and we move on from there. And I'm like, that's the only thing I've ever heard of that comes close to like your kind of gothic Miss Cleo in Collingswood. And I'm so curious, like, how did you come up with that idea?
I, like again at that time, I think it was like all those, and they would just crack me up. Those commercials for the 1-800 psychic, and what is it? Like Dionne Warwick would do that, or the Psychic Friends Network, or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So um, then my friend Diane, who's an actress who played Vera Madeline, she did some like guest food and lodging, and like most recently she's playing a nanny on The Young and the Restless, this soap opera. And I keep trying to like tell her, I'm like, Diane, play it darker, like make her really dark, make her creepy. She's like, no, I can't play her like Vera. I'm like, you should, come on. But anyway, I had her play the role because I knew that she could add some type of like um, humor to it also. So before it just goes completely dark, because I mean basically she is, she's trying to make a living, this webcam psychic. So
Well, it's interesting because your film, you have a relationship at the heart of it. And it's kind of like a guy pursuing a girl. And we
yes,
enter into this like everything we see in the movie is kind of what the other person wants us to see. Kind of like with Zoom, we can change out our background or we could pick a room that we want to be in.
yes,
And I remember taking a documentary class, and the first thing they ever said was like, you cannot make a neutral documentary. Everything is a choice. Everything is manipulation. If you put a dude in a lab coat, people are going to trust him. If you put him in a library, they're going to think he's smart. So we have this whole idea. There's this theme in your movie of like authenticity. And when you add a like corporate psychic to it, you give the audience a chance to really look at somebody who we don't trust at all. Yet her role in the plot becomes more and more important, and our characters, they kind of jump in and out of trusting her.
yep,
And I think you really articulated something that was gonna, plague the rest of humanity forever, which is like online authenticity and what do we believe? And
yes,
hey, I Googled some shit about your house, it's haunted. And
yep,
it's like, yeah, but who wrote it?
right.
I don't know. I feel like you really nailed that. And I don't, was
Well,
that
there was just some of my paranoias too at the beginning. No, totally, of like
yeah.
the internet, and there's of course you bring all that even sometimes subconsciously into your work also. So again, it's like I just whether it is conscious or subconscious, I kind of just go with it. But definitely, I was like, this is so creepy and cool and weird that you can just Google anything and just have it right there. So, but first and foremost, I do have to say too, I did want to have at least like a solid story between the two leads, like the Rebecca and John, and just I think that that really helps carry the film and get the audience involved. And that's one of the comments that someone mentioned in the Q&A. This woman said, she was like, wow, I got really into the characters and you know, in their story. So that's, I think, just so important.
Yeah, and it's funny because again, using the Blair Witch as inspiration, you kind of went the opposite direction with your characters. And I talk about this all the time. How one of the damage done by the Blair Witch was it created a picture that people were trying to like imitate. And one thing everybody imitated was like the destruction of a documentary crew. And part of that ship going down is them hating each other and yelling at each other. And by the end of the film, you're just like, can y'all need to die now? And we've had like what's worked with our audience the best over the years we've done is a crew that, you know, might be unraveling, but they're ultimately like they have a good relationship or they have a blossoming relationship, yet you know that by the context of the film, they didn't make it out. And
Right.
it kind of adds this like Hitchcockian suspense of like, fuck, dude, these two are just hitting it off, and yet we're in the third act, and I
They're
know
always doomed.
they're gonna die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know, creates this kind of like melancholy,
Mhm.
especially when your film, dude, your film's like nostalgic for a '90s that never was. And every time I watch it, I'm like, dude, the desktop and everything, it looks familiar yet completely foreign.
No.
To me too. You know, having not watched it, and then when, you know, Cauldron, looking at it again, I was like, wait, what? I-
Dude, now, you know, I got to talk about the pumpkin shit homie. What was his name?
Grant Edmonds.
Now, whenever I think of Collingswood, I think of how you set up his room, because we have a character who, you know, his his computer camera has framed out his whole room completely. So if you were going to visually tell me what somebody's thinking, that's the dude. You get to see all his posters. You get to see his bed on the floor. You get to see beer cans. You get to see jack-o'-lanterns that are carved.
Mhm.
Like, this dude doesn't have to say anything, and I know exactly who he is. And you kind of use that to your advantage in a beautiful way.
Yeah, that was fun. That was actually my garage, and just made that into, because yeah, he's just living out of his parents' garage. So that was my favorite set. Actually, that was a lot of fun.
Dude, sleeping with jack-o'-lanterns on your bed? There's something about that is like viscerally, I don't know, both charming and like utterly like my life is going the wrong direction.
Don't tell me you've never slept with a jack-o'-lantern on your
No.
bed.
Now I love carving a pumpkin, but the guts,
Oh yeah,
they do kind of like gross me out.
yeah, they can be. Can be kind of gross.
Mike, have you slept with the jack-o'-lantern?
Of course I have. Okay, of course I have.
All right, I guess I'm the weird one
I look,
here.
I save my pumpkins. They last till July.
Yeah. Also, Russell, if you're gonna love something, you gotta love all of it. Okay? So don't come with this a la carte sense of love. We're like, I love jack-o'-lanterns, but I don't like guts, man. They're
In
gross.
my bed? I don't know.
No.
Also, Mike,
Come on, come all.
I have to be honest. Out
Mm.
in front of our house right now is a pumpkin.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
Big
perfect.
pumpkin.
It's a giant pumpkin, and here's the thing: I just can't bring
It's,
myself to get rid of it.
no, I
No
can't
shit.
either. I mean, just again, for just people that have known me my entire life, it's Halloween like year round for me. So it's just, you know, just
Does
how it
now
is.
Oh, you love this fucking house. God, I hate this house at Halloween. I hate this house at Halloween.
No,
There's
why?
nonstop shenanigans because they got this awful Hellraiser knockoff, terrible. What is that thing that
it's
you
a
put in the
What's the
kitchen?
Hellraiser thing? What?
it's a dollar store like window thing, but it's giant. It's like 6.5 feet tall or something.
Wow. And it's of Hellraiser? You got it?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a somebody who has a budding career in art got commissioned to do something, and
It looks like Hellraiser, but if it was
it's like
drunk.
it's like not Pinhead,
Oh
it's
no.
more like Nailhead.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's funny.
Oh, dude, it's fucking cool. Clark just doesn't have a soul, and he
No,
can't
you put it
Where does he put it, Clark?
on the we have a sliding glass door in our
Right?
kitchen, and every time I get a DoorDash person here, they scared and they drop the food off at my car.
That's so funny. Here, just
Well, we also have
It's not welcoming, Mike. That's all I'm saying.
we've also got a
sorry.
staircase that we have like a little like stairwell area, and there's a middle part that has kind of a landing.
Right.
If you put it there, the lame door that they're coming through actually kind of does an uncanny valley thing where you're like, is that a door?
It's a portal to hell.
Yeah. Dude, Mike, I have a little. So there's this little cardboard cutout. I think she's like 2 feet tall. She's this little disheveled looking ghoul girl, and she's munching on a rat.
Ooh,
I put that right outside of Clark's door, and he tore it off the fucking wall.
Oh,
Leave
shit.
that shit near my sanctuary.
I'm now not joking. That has scared people on Zoom and in our house multiple times.
Wow, Clark. No, yeah, that would freak me out too.
See, I have PTSD from living in this fucking hellhole.
No.
Now, Mike, where do you live currently? Are you in Jersey?
No, Los Angeles.
Oh, you made the move.
Yeah.
There's something weird going on over in Jersey and Baltimore, because I feel like half of the people making found footage movies come out of there, and I was shocked to learn.
Which is or like the East Coast. They're so
East Coast people are better. I think they're more creative, honestly. Also because I think it's
Where are you guys from?
thing. I'm from the South originally. I'm from Mississippi.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's just the West Coast. You got life too easy over here. East Coast in the South, people are better. It's just a fact. You need to embrace that. They're more creative. They work harder. They understand they can take constructive criticism. Okay, and they don't flip out when it's not 72 degrees. That's all I'm saying.
That is true.
And when it rains, they don't fucking cause a 30-car pileup on the highway. When it rains out here, people lose their goddamn mind.
Yeah.
They don't know how to drive. The governor starts pardoning people for no reason. We don't know what to do. I'm just saying, Californians are bitches. Mike, your thoughts?
He's not going to touch that. What the Also, the East Coast, they make better Halloween movies. You really need, like, a different season than summer.
Yeah,
to get that vibe.
That definitely plays on it, absolutely. Because just the fall, especially growing up, during the fall, and just being able to walk down, even if it's a sketchy neighborhood or something, just with the leaves falling,
all the best,
definitely. Yeah.
Now, Mike, I'm guessing you have a passion in skateboarding. Am I correct there?
Yes.
How do you feel about fingerboarding?
Whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat.
Well, I've noticed you've shot a couple of skate videos. Now, I don't know if you know this about me, but I fucking shred a tech deck.
Oh, so, very good.
Maybe I'll give you an exclusive someday.
You've retired. You've retired, though. Are you coming out of retirement?
No,
you teased that.
I don't have the chops anymore, dude. I lost it.
Yeah, because you basically got paid to do it at work.
I know, right? And all through high school, man, gave me something to do.
Completely. Same with me in high school, but I gave it up, and then I was in Venice, and I was teaching some friends, their kids, their 2 boys, how to skimboard, and the Venice skate park was behind us. And after like the lesson, they're like, let's go to the skate park. And I'm like, okay. And like, as soon as I got to the skateboard and just heard the grind, I was like, whoa, I missed this. So I went back the next day and just, started meeting some skaters, became friends, and just started filming. So it brought back that whole, with the punk rock, with the music, and just something that I just missed so much.
For sure.
But yeah, you should, on Vimeo, on my Vimeo, I have a lot of the skate videos on there. And then I did a VR, one in VR, which was pretty cool. And actually, like there was an exhibit of my work in Palm Springs at a this place called Art Pop. So what I had was some of my prints, some of my videos, and VR, and that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. It was like a couple summers ago where it was like 110 degrees.
Oh God. Now, on your Vimeo, were you talking about the Skatelife, a multimedia exhibit in 3D?
Yes, yes, that one.
Now
There's that
what's
one,
going
and then
on
there's
there?
some other. Well, that one's in VR, but then there's just some skate videos that are 2D.
Okay, now it's in
And I'm going
VR.
to be shooting some more soon.
In VR?
No, possibly, but just for now, just some 2D ones.
Oh, now how do you shoot anything in VR?
You have a camera. I partnered with Samsung. They had this camera called the Samsung Round 360 that has 16 lenses on it.
Oh God.
And the real trick is the editing of VR because it was kind of a learning curve. But yeah, you need a camera like that. Just like the one which I really liked, and I'm sorry, I forget the name, from Mexico City.
Putrefaction.
Yes, yes, yes. That was, I think that was shot with the GoPro Fusion because in one of the, because I was trying to figure out which camera it was, but I think in one of the shots, I could see it and it looked like the Fusion, which I haven't shot anything with, but it is a pretty good camera. It is pretty good
All right,
camera.
Mike. I'm
But the
I'm so
Samsung thing was huge. It was, it wasn't a small like little GoPro thing. It was much bigger.
I have a million questions now, and I'm so glad that you watched Putrefaction because we had a thing where Putrefaction is a film out of Mexico. We got it as a late submission, and their like tagline was film, the first feature film ever shot completely in a 360 camera.
Mm.
And I remember my first reaction to that was, "Oh no." And I just thought
Yeah.
because I had been
Oh,
on
no.
YouTube,
Oh,
I'd
shit.
I'd been on YouTube, and every time they do like a 360 anything in film,
Yeah,
it's kind of like they're putting a burden on the audience because, they want you to take your mouse and look around. I remember,
completely, completely.
The Conjuring had
Yeah,
like a trailer that was 360 where it's kinda like you're on
Oh, did it?
a roller coaster thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
but you can look around, and I'm like, "That's not fun."
It's
Like
not they really haven't figured the right way to master it. But I will say when if you're watching it in a headset,
yeah,
then it's much more immersive. When you're just sitting at your computer scrolling,
yeah.
it's like, it's but just even when I watched the Skate Life one, it's like, what is this? When you have a headset, it's completely different. That's why even watching this film from Mexico City, the whole time when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh my god, I want to watch this in a headset." But
Now
how they presented it for the festival was really great because um, you are able to at least point when you're showing it as 2D exactly where you're supposed to look. Because
yeah,
again, if someone's just scrolling, they're going to miss something.
yep.
They're not really going to know, where to look.
And that's the problem. The reason I had that reaction was I've played a lot of horror games, and when you do that, a lot of the time you'll miss a jump scare because you have the freedom to look wherever the fuck you
Exactly.
want.
Yep, exactly.
And like maybe somebody's gonna walk by the doorway and they have an audio cue, but you never stop looking at the goddamn inventory screen or you're digging around in a drawer and you just hear "Wah," and you're like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
And that was my first reaction was like, oh fuck, this isn't gonna work. But they edited it down, like you said, into a 2D platform, used the really wide fisheye lens to make or it's not a fisheye. They use the 3D camera to kind of play with like distorting reality. Our lead characters do DMT in the beginning, and
Mm.
it turns into a kind of like visual narrative of distorted reality. Also, there's like themes of claustrophobia, and I was blown away. But I had no idea how the fuck they edited it. So how do you do that, Mike? Do you take like 3D footage? Would you as the editor kind of point the camera or like what we're looking at and then just be capturing that as you go? So like live editing?
Yeah, you drop an effect called there's VR projection. or VR rotate. And then what you're able to do is change the access, like the point of view. So if somebody's looking forward, you can actually turn the footage because you're working with 360. So you can turn the footage and then at least point it if the person is looking forward to what you want to look at. So it is all in the editing. And that's what these filmmakers, had to do with their film. But they could also stretch out the image because you'll notice in all those distorted shots, that's basically the whole film, unflattened, what it looks like right out of the, if you want to call it, just like right out of the gate, right out of the, out of the video card,
Yeah.
what it would look like, and then you shape it into, um, a straight on view.
God, it seems like a lot of work.
It is, yeah, it is.
I kept thinking that the whole time. I'm like, it's like you've added a literal another dimension to
It
your
is.
film,
Yeah.
and now you've got to like manage that
A
too.
warped dimension.
Shout out to Mickey.
But I like I thought they did a good job. I thought it was cool, and it's something new, and they they ran with it. I really liked it.
Oh, dude, Putrid Fiction's fantastic.
Yeah.
And now I'm I'm a little hot to trot to see if you're gonna play around in that medium.
Hot to trot? What are you, Cary Grant?
It's getting steamy in here.
I am currently reading a book about noir westerns, and we're going back to post World War II cinema. There's a movie called Yellow Sky that I really I think we should watch.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
No, but Mike, we need you to make a 3D narrative now. We're looking for ghost. We're looking for nostalgia.
We're looking for skateboards.
Dude, you gotta have. Hey, have you ever seen VHS Viral?
I have not. But is that the new one that's on Shudder?
No, this was the third one.
VHS Viral is the one that killed the franchise for a while.
Correct.
Okay.
Because the wraparound was horrendous.
However,
but there was a short in there called Bone Storm, which is a callback to the Simpsons video game.
Right.
And Bone Storm is about some skaters. Imagine like Larry Clark's What's Up Rockers.
Okay.
But they're walking around with like cameras, and they get into some found footage shenanigans. I highly recommend you seek that out.
Oh, cool.
Dude, it's fucking good.
Oh,
it's one of those things where you watch an anthology horror and everyone's like, I fucking hated this movie. Except there was that one short that was fantastic. And that's that one.
Cool. Because I started, years ago, not years ago, when was it? Like 2018. I'm really bad at math.
I'm there with you.
And I was at an empty pool. I was like, I just had the idea to do a found footage film. So I hopefully going to start shooting this summer.
Dude, don't tease me with that shit. I hope you're going to.
That's kind of the plan. So I'll keep you guys updated on that.
Well, what else you working on, Mike?
Let's see. Mostly writing. I'm just doing some new TV pilots and scripts, so hoping to sell something.
The eternal battle.
I know.
Yeah. new thing off the ground. And with Shudder coming up, that should be interesting too.
Yeah, please keep us updated on that because we're going to let everybody know to jump on Shudder.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Shudder, shout out to them. They're not a sponsor or a partner or even respond to us in any way. But they get found footage, and they have let us show films in the past. And I don't know. It's good to know that part of the horror community has really embraced in-world camera with open arms. And yes. Mike, you got to know, man, you are a part of it. You're historically probably the creator of what I think might become one of the more popular genres in found footage, which is screen life. And
Thank you.
Man, it was an honor to have you at the festival. It was a bucket list item to watch your movie with you. And to get to hang out with you and talk to you on the podcast, man, has been fantastic. And dude, thank you again for giving us the time.
Thank you, Randy, and thank you, Clark. It was it was so much fun.
Did you say Randy? Hold on.
Being in San Francisco, the Balboa Theater. You guys had a great venue, and the other theaters you were at too. The Roxy, and it was great.
Now, Mike, did you just say fucking Randy, dude?
What's that?
You're talking to
Oh.
Randy right now? Do not think Randy, our ungrateful fucking engineer who doesn't even have his camera on. Look at that.
I just hit record. That's all I do.
That's all right. Thank you, Randy.
No problem.
Mike, I love you, man, and I mean it. If you're ever out here in the Bay Area, let's fucking let's hang out, dude.
Definitely. I hope to be back soon, and I'll let you guys know.
Good deal. Thanks again, Mike.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Overlook Hour. And if you would like to hear more, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your podcatcher of choice is. And while you're there, go ahead and give us a rating and or a review, which is a very easy way for you to support this show that we bring to you every week for years now, free of charge. And as always, you can find us on YouTube at The Overlook Theater, Instagram at The Overlook Theater, Facebook at The Overlook Hour, and Twitter at The Overlook Hour. Last but not least, you can send us your emails and tell us how much you like or dislike the show at overlookhour@gmail.com. And if you're nice, maybe we'll read them on the show. I've been your engineer, Randy Stat. Please join me along with Clark, Russell, and Oksana again next time. Bye.